NBC.
Good morning. I'm William Quall, security officer at NBC for 5 years. I'm supposed to welcome the David Letterman Show to NBC and to remind you all to carry your NBC identification with you at all times. I don't know who David Letterman is. I don't care who David Letterman is. If he doesn't have his ID card, I'm going to have to shoot him.
It's the David Letterman Show, live with Valerie Bromfield, Edie McClure, Bob Sarlott, Edwin Newman with NBC News, and Frank Owens and the David Letterman Symphony Orchestra. Plus David's guests, Jeff Greenfield, Esther Satterfield, Jon and Jon Alpert, and Hester Mundez. The man for whom NBC canceled 3 game shows, David Letterman. Thank you very much. I'll just take a minute here to let you folks applauding at home settle down. Okay. And you're saying, how do they get such a wonderful, spontaneous response for this guy? Well, I guess drugs would be the answer to that, huh, folks? My name is David Letterman, oh, this is so embarrassing. Could we have a shot of this? Like something you'd see on the freeway, only bigger, you know? It's welcome to the television program. I'm up here in the audience. I guess that's fairly apparent. I gotta say something to you people at home who may be saying to yourselves, what's the deal on this guy's haircut? I'm a kind of guy, I always look for a bargain. You know, you go, for example, you go to a baseball park, some nights it's helmet night, some nights it's bat night, some nights it's like camera night. Over the weekend at Yankee Stadium, they had haircut day. And I went out there and took advantage of it. I've been assured that it will grow in moments from now. I want you to meet some of the people who make up this fine audience. What is your name?
Donna Hayes.
Donna, do you mind standing? Oh, she's trembling. Where are you from, Donna?
Texas.
What part of Texas?
San Antonio.
San Antonio. And what are you doing in New York?
Visiting.
Visiting, and where are you staying?
With my parents.
I had to think there for a second, didn't you, Donna? Ladies and gentlemen, Donna is staying with her parents, okay? So, if Donna's husband or boyfriend, or both, are looking in, she's staying with her parents. What do you do for a living?
I'm a nursing instructor.
Nursing instructor. And you're here on vacation, having a fun time? What other wonderful things have you done besides come here and let me humiliate you for a minute or two?
Well, I've run around New York City.
Mm-hmm. Fleeing for your life?
No,
No, we don't want to start that. It's a wonderful place to be, and you know what's exciting? Have you taken the tour of this building?
Yes.
Would you enjoy it?
Mm-hmm. I used to.
Another satisfied tourist, ladies and gentlemen.
Actually, I used to be a guidette here.
A guidette?
Mm-hmm. Oh, when they had tours.
Yeah, they don't have tours anymore?
Not that I know of.
I think they have somewhat of a tour. No tour?
No.
Well, by gosh, we'll get you folks a tour, don't worry. If you are wandering through the halls in this building, this morning I saw, you know who Willard Scott is?
No.
He's the weatherman on the Today Show, kind of a big guy, so I'm in his shorts in the hallway. So you look for that. Keep plenty of film on hand. Thank you for chatting with me, Donna. Go ahead and have a seat. That's Donna. What is your name, sir?
Alvin Stroller.
Alvin, do you mind standing up?
Certainly.
Where are you from, Alvin?
I'm also from Texas.
Do you know Donna here?
No, but I don't live but about 85 miles from her.
Well, good. Maybe. Yeah. Fat chance, Al. You're here on vacation, I guess?
Yes, sir, sure.
And have you eaten breakfast yet, Al?
Yes, sir.
What do you do for a living?
I work for Rural Electric Cooperative.
Rural Electric Cooperative.
Yes,
That's
sir.
difficult to say. Let's all try that. Rural Electric. It's a joke. We don't all have to do that. I have not eaten breakfast. Would you mind going out for a little something?
I'll do it.
Okay, I'll stay right there. Who would like a little something? What do you want?
Eggs over.
No, nothing. Coffee. Black?
Fine.
Okay, anybody else?
An orange juice.
An orange juice, 1 coffee black, 1 orange juice. 2 coffees, how do you want it?
Can I get a cheese steak?
Wait a minute, one at a time, son.
Regular.
Regular coffee. Okay, so orange juice, coffee. I'll take coffee. Bob, you want something?
Yeah, I'd like a hot steaming cup of coffee.
Okay, so that's, what is that, 5 cups of coffee, 1 orange juice. No, that's it. The contest is over, sir. Thank you very much. Now, can you handle that for us?
I doubt it very soon.
No, you can do this. You ever been here before?
No, sir, I haven't.
All right, well, there's a cafeteria up on the 7th floor. We're in the 6th floor. Hold this, Al. I have some money. How much do you think that'll run? What do we have, 5? I feel like Monty Hall. Already went the door, which Carol Merrill is pointing to now. How many coffees did we have? 4 or 5? 5? 5 coffees, 1 orange juice. All coffees were black. There you go, $10, Alvin. If you don't mind, and get a little something for yourself. Do you mind?
I'll try. Which direction?
This man is trembling with apprehension. I'm going to point you that way. Go on up there, Al. How about a nice hand for Al, ladies and gentlemen? Going up there. Here, hold this. Do you mind holding that? I have a very definite feeling that Al is going up there against his will, ladies and gentlemen, but he'll be back with coffee moments from now. A lot of people ask me, well, actually not a lot, closer to a couple of people. They say to me, Dave, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background? We actually hardly know anything about you. Of course, we know that you have hosted the Tonight Show, but let's face it, who hasn't? So I thought I'd start off my new show with a brief biography of myself, and I have some visual aids here. Something that not everyone realizes, I was actually born in the first 2-story mobile home ever constructed in the state of Indiana. It's still standing, I believe. And I was raised by professional wrestlers. And do you folks have any idea how hard it is to get a picture of wrestlers holding a baby? Apparently not. Okay. So shortly thereafter, I became a street performer, and I would perform things for people on the street. Here I'm being paid some money for simply placing my forehead to the pants cuffs of this elderly gentleman there. I wish I was getting coffee. Working odd jobs like that, I finally saved up enough money to purchase this uniform you see me here in, and I went into business with my Uncle Herb. We became tie inspectors. We're examining a specimen here on a pedestrian who has been tranquilized for that investigation. Tie inspector. We'll check these microphones before the end of the day. Later, I, of course, attended Ball State University. In Muncie, Indiana. This is, of course, the administration building, and this is the new building, the School of Architecture right there. Right after college, I went into business for myself, and it frankly didn't work out like I had hoped. It was the first combination all-you-can-eat buffet and blood bank. And, well, from there, I went on to my next job. That was, here I am pictured here as a stand-in for yearbook photos. Fairly lucrative. Now, it was just a short step from that particular job to my next full-time bit of employment, that as local television personality. Hi there. First of all, turning instantly to the magic spinning box, you see here the highly poisonous Venezuelan canal snake. No, that's not right. Don't jump up from your cereal bowl. As you can see, that videotape was made several years before the invention of the blow dryer. That pretty much brings us up to date. My favorite movie is Viva Las Vegas. My favorite soup, we have a photo of this, is lentil. There you go. Nice. These folks are applauding lentil soup, isn't it? My favorite restaurant trick is requesting more parsley. It's a kind of a trick I play. I say to the waiter, I say, "Excuse me, waiter, could I have some more parsley?" You know, like, who wants more parsley? You understand? Oh, never mind. We'll be right back with Edwin Newman and an NBC News update. back to the show. One of the regular features that we will be having twice daily here on the David Letterman Show, going to be news updates. And to bring us that information, one of the best in the business, here now is Edwin Newman. Ed?
Thank you, David. Here is the news. Moscow radio today carried a statement about the partial Soviet withdrawal from Afghanistan. Moscow radio said one division was being pulled out and 108 tanks. That's thought to leave 75,000 Soviet soldiers in Afghanistan. At the Venice meeting, where a full Soviet pullout has been demanded by President Carter and the others, a statement on what's been accomplished or will be claimed to have been accomplished is due at any moment. Mr. Carter is to leave Venice today for Yugoslavia, where he will, among other things, lay a wreath at the tomb of Marshal Tito. Thailand today ordered a full alert along the border with Cambodia. That came after Vietnamese soldiers there attacked a refugee camp for Cambodians and chased thousands of them deeper into Thailand. Thailand wants to send the refugees back. In India, Prime Minister Indira Gandhi's son, Sanjay, was killed today when his light plane crashed near New Delhi. The instructor also was killed. Gandhi was at the controls when the plane wobbled and fell. He was considered, after his mother, the most powerful politician in India. Iran's new parliament was to hold its first meeting today. It didn't. Not enough members turned up. The first session is now set for tomorrow. Senator Howard Metzenbaum of the Senate Energy Committee was on today this morning. He was asked who is to blame for the continuing high cost of fuel. And here is Metzenbaum's answer.
It caused the increases in prices. Certainly that would have some impact. But the real impact has come about by reason of the fact that the oil companies have increased their profits. They're up about between 80 and 100% for the first quarter of this year.
Selection of a jury continues today in Greensboro, North Carolina, in the trial of 6 Nazis and Ku Klux Klansmen accused of murdering 5 members of the Communist Workers' Party. In Rome, 2 gunmen today shot to death a state attorney who had been investigating right-wing terrorism in Italy. The gunman escaped. In Hartford, Connecticut, a man named Irwin Schiff is to be sentenced today for refusing to pay income taxes. Schiff says the tax collection system is unconstitutional and dollars are not legal tender anyway. By occupation, Schiff is a financial advisor. The world's 4th test tube baby was born today in Melbourne, Australia. A girl, 7 pounds, 14 ounces. She and her mother are well, and so is the test tube.
Let us know when that test tube is a year old, Ed. We'll get a card out if we can. Thank you very much. Edwin will return later in the program with more news, and our program now will continue right after you take a look at this. Jon and Keiko Alpert will be here. A couple of minutes. Thank you, folks. Welcome back to the show. My first 2 guests are young journalists working principally with videotape. They have literally learned their craft on the busy streets of New York City before taking their cameras to the troubled areas of Saigon, Tehran, and Havana. A nice welcome now, please, for Jon Alpert and his wife, Keiko. How do you do? Nice. You look terrific. You don't. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Keiko?
Keiko. We're going to show some videotapes that you folks have produced, but before we get to that, by comparison, tell me how this began, how you started functioning with videotape, where you get the idea. It was your idea, wasn't it?
Yes, it was my idea, and John joined later.
How long ago was that?
It was 1970, I think 70.
So it's been over 10 years now. Did you go out and buy the equipment, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was working as a waitress and saved up my money and bought first portable equipment.
It was a little tiny camera about this big and a recorder, and I was driving a taxi cab. We had some savings, and we figured we'd spend the money.
Did you ever think that it was a good way to make a living at that when you first got the stuff and were playing around with it?
Actually, we lost money first 2 years.
Yeah, we were so broke. At one point, I was ready to sell the equipment. It was sitting over in the corner. We didn't have any money to pay the rent. And I said, we got to sell it. And Keiko said, no, give me one chance. And so she used to, she dressed up like a boy, and she used to take us around in a shopping car, the little camera and the recorder, and she would make pictures. And when she came home and showed this to everybody, we all got excited and decided maybe we could get serious.
This is something to keep in mind now while we look at the videotapes and how far you two have come. What are we going to take a look at first, John? John is incidentally recently back from Cuba, and we're going to look at what now?
Well, we were in Cuba during the time this past month when the refugees were leaving and coming to Florida. But, there were a lot of people that wanted to leave that hadn't gotten visas. And one day they assembled out in front of the, what's the equivalent of the American embassy there, and they began asking for visas. All of a sudden, a huge fight started between the people who wanted to leave and the Cubans who want to stay in Cuba. And there hasn't been a battle like this. I don't think anybody was able to film this. There's been nothing like this in years, and so we just happened to be there at the right moment, and we took a film of this fight outside the American interest section in Cuba.
Okay, so we'll take a look at that now.
You never can tell when you're going to get there at the right time. The battle began when 14 workers from a local office confronted 700 demonstrators who had been chanting anti-Castro slogans. The police finally arrived and separated the combatants. 300 people who had been seeking visas took refuge inside the United States interest section, and a growing crowd began to taunt them. A dozen more people ran to get inside the U.S. office to join the others who were inside demanding visas from the State Department. But some people didn't make it inside.
Okay.
They were caught by the crowd, and the police had to fight with the people in order to save them. Altogether, more than a dozen people were hurt.
How were you able to walk around freely and shoot videotape like that and then get it out of the country?
Well, this tape actually was taken away from us. I guess he was a policeman or something like that, finally realized that somebody was filming this. They didn't realize that any journalists were around. And we knew that they wanted to take the tape away. We kept on avoiding them, but eventually they caught up with us. They took it away, but the next day it was returned to us.
So they actually viewed it, we would guess,
right,
and then approved of the contents and gave it back.
I guess so, and they showed a lot of this on Cuban television because they needed footage of this. They didn't have their own reporters there. We were the only people that were there.
The next bit of videotape that we're going to look at, to me, is just fascinating, and I guess that's coming shortly. Did you go to Cuba, Keiko?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. And the next bit of footage is actually, well, it's self-explanatory. Fascinating stuff.
I'll never forget when I saw you in the Moncada.
Por ejemplo, nunca olvidaré cuando lo vi en el Moncada.
You had to go to the bathroom,
Usted tuvo que ir al baño,
but you had to go with 3 other people.
pero tuvo que ir con otras 3 personas.
And you're always wearing your bulletproof vest.
Siempre está protegido con su traje.
¿Cuál traje?
What suit?
Everybody says you always have
Sé
a
que todo el
bulletproof
mundo
vest.
dice que usted tiene un chaleco a prueba de balas.
No. Voy a desembarcar así en Nueva York.
I will land in New York like this.
Tengo un
I will
chaleco.
land in New York like this.
Tengo un chaleco moral.
I have a moral one.
A moral
A moral vest.
Es fuerte.
It's strong.
Ese me ha protegido.
That one has protected me always.
It's not often you get to see a world leader take his shirt off like that. We're getting backed up here time-wise. We got to take a break, and the David Letterman Show will continue with Jon Alpert and his wife Keiko in a couple of minutes. Welcome back to the show. We're talking with Jon Alpert and Keiko, and in addition to being a fine videotape journalist, you do bird calls, John?
I can do bird
Let's
calls.
hear a little. Do you mind?
No, please.
You don't want to do? All right.
Next show.
It seemed to me when you were talking with Castro there that even through the interpreter there was some sort of a rapport. You got along with him okay?
I think so. Actually, he didn't do his homework. He had a lot of speech preparation to do, and for some reason he was more interested in talking to us, and he spent the entire plane ride sitting next to us. He was stealing food from my plate.
Mm-hmm. He was just kind of like a goofy, regular kind of guy there.
At this particular time, yeah.
Did you spend much time? I understand he told you other things about his life in New York City and
He
so
told
forth.
us about his old girlfriends and where he used to live in New York. We learned a couple of secrets.
Anything you can share with us at this time?
He used to live on 84th Street. I think that's
84th Street. I think I have his old place because there's and I know that beard's
cockroach
phony.
this big.
Yeah. Now, this is what you're doing currently, and you're leaving for Cuba again on Wednesday. Not that he goes exclusively to Cuba, but all over the world, Afghanistan. But you also operate a community center. And tell me what the purpose of that is.
Well, we're a very small organization, and we believe that that there are people who have things to say and can actually learn how to say them in television. In other words, even you can learn how to do this. And, ever since we started, we believe that if we taught other people how to do this, that our work would go much further. We're just 2 people, and we have a small staff. So we started a school, and ever since 1972, we've been training people. Actually, there have been 7,000 people that have taken the class, and the class is free.
Okay.
And we have a center
Apparently
down in Chinatown.
We don't have the tape.
We don't have the tape.
There's been a small explosion in the control room, obviously. It's in your neighborhood. Now, who comes to you, who needs the information about operating videotape equipment?
Well, initially it was only people in Chinatown in the part of New York City that's called the Lower East Side.
Mm-hmm.
And they would just call us up and say, I'd like to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And we would form a class. But now people from all over New York City come to the class.
Okay, I'll tell you what, since we don't have the tape, if you come back another time, we'll spend more time talking about the center. Now, when John goes back to Cuba, are you going along, Keiko?
I might not.
Yeah. What is the nature of this trip now? Things are pretty much stabilized, haven't they?
I think it's trying to analyze what's happened in the past year. Are the people there happy or unhappy? Who's left in Cuba?
We gotta go. We'll return in 2 minutes. Jon Alpert. Thank you, John. Hi there, and welcome back to the David Letterman Show. Let me just point something out to you. If you're planning a trip to New York and you'd like to be part of our audience, let me give you a reason why that you should consider it if you're not already. We have a hot buffet every morning for the people who are here. And then closer to 11 o'clock, we'll open the bar. So that's something. Coming up in this half hour of the television program, I like to say that. That's fun. Coming up in this half hour, in fact, try that around the house today. Mrs. Marv Mendenhall will be joining us. She is from all over the United States, and she's bringing us some household hints. My good friend Bob Sarlott, Esther Satterfield, a fine singer, will be here. And Jeff Greenfield, who is a television critic, will be here in a few minutes to talk about television and also to review this histrionic extravaganza. So we'll be looking forward to that. And if you at home have any thoughts of maybe changing the channel, don't. I'll tell you why. We have a television right here, for example. See, this is us right here. Now, I can just quickly, let's see what's over on channel 2. It's a commercial, but I have a feeling it's going to be it's another commercial, so we'll go on. Channel 13, no, here we got an old movie. Looks like Dinah. And look at this, we got an old movie. This looks like an old Lone Ranger. You know, I might actually be interested in that. Let's go back here to channel, oh, my 3 sons on 5. 2 apparently is the all-commercial station here in New York. There's another commercial. Anyway, so you see there's actually no need for you to look at another television show while we're here in operation. I'm going to introduce my next guest. I'm very excited to have this lady with us. Her name is Mrs. Marv Mendenhall. And everybody knows Mrs. Mendenhall. She's a domestic engineer. She's the mother of 2 children, Mindy 10 and Marv Jr. 8. And she has agreed to join us on a regular basis here on the David Letterman Show to share her household hints and tips on how to live better. Welcome, please, Mrs. Marv Mendenhall. How do you do, Mrs. Mendenhall? You're always, when you arrive, my spirits are buoyed by your lilting voice.
Oh, thank you so much, Dave. You know, I figure, you might as well be cheery because a down face is a sad face.
Well, that's true.
Oh, yeah. Well, by way of introduction, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Mrs. Marv Mendenhall, and I've lived just outside about every major city in the United States. Yeah. Now, recently, when Marv Sr. was working for TRW in Los Angeles, we lived just outside in Van Nuys. And then when he worked for IBM in Chicago, we lived just outside in Lake Forest. And then when he worked for TWA in Kansas City, we lived just outside in Prairie Village. And then when he worked for 3M in Minneapolis, we lived just outside in Coon Rapids. Yeah. And now he works for RCE in New York City, and we live just outside in Secaucus, New